terrible tragedy that has put individuals' lives in danger, that has injured firefighters, and that has tried to take advantage of this community that's facing such tough times. As mayor, I will not allow criminals and fear to take over this city. We're doing what we have to do. We talked extensively yesterday about my concern for shared sacrifice in regards to this city's financial condition. So we're doing everything that we can, and there is never ever an excuse for violence in this city. It will be fully and rapidly investigated, and those criminals who are charged with these offenses will be fully prosecuted. A couple other points. One is that we have every available police officer and firefighter will be working to keep this community safe. Overtime, double shifts, whatever it takes to get through these next hours and these few days while this criminal element is on the loose. We're asking citizens to keep an eye on the vacant structures that are near their homes. Be vigilant. Call 911 with any suspicious activity. You may also be wondering, in light of our conversation yesterday about the layoffs and the finances, where do we stand with negotiations? I want to assure you that this administration continues to engage our union leadership to reach agreement on the cost concessions that we all know are necessary in this city's current economic situation. Even this morning, there was a mediation session with our Flint patrol officers to again try to reach an agreement before we have to go into a formal arbitration process. So with that, those few main points outlined, I'd like to turn over to Public Safety Director Alvern Locke to say a few words about what we know, where things stand now, and then we'll get into the customary time of questions. Okay, Chief.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say that we had 8 fires last night. 2 firemen were injured working those fires. It's unfortunate that someone set those fires, and it looks like, according to the firemen that were on the scene, that these fires were set in a routine pattern. And the firemen are not happy that, they're out there fighting fires unnecessarily. And I spoke with several of them, and they are doing their job, and I have to say they've gone above and beyond the call of duty to put these fires out. Unfortunately, a couple of them did get hurt, and they are at home, and they'll be okay. But we have our arson investigators out investigating this in conjunction with the state police and some federal agencies also. And this will continue until we figure out who's doing this or it stops. But, we're going to investigate this.
Can you tell us how the firemen were injured?
Well, one of them was injured fighting a fire in the roof. The roof collapsed on him. Another one was fighting a fire, and he got burned on the neck by some of the fire that was in the house.
When you say routine pattern, exactly what is that they used to say?
That they were set in a similar manner to fire.
What was that mean?
I can't do that part of the investigation.
Do you have any suspects so far? I know our station sent in some video that you guys are looking at right now.
Well, I spoke with the investigators this morning. They were speaking to an individual, so I don't know if he's a suspect or a witness at this point.
Mayor, in retrospect, would you do things differently? In reference to the fires, would you do things differently as far as the cuts?
We are doing what has to be done to secure this city's future. Again, there is never, ever an excuse for violence in any part of this city to be inflicted on any neighborhood, any family, any youth, any senior. We are doing what has to be done by state law to manage our resources in a responsible manner. We continue to have the largest, the strongest, the best public safety force in this region. Those individuals exhibited that last night as they fought 8 fires and extinguished those fires. These are very hard-working public safety officers. They need the support of this community. And there's no excuse and there's no rationale that should be contemplated for someone committing violence, for someone setting fires, putting our families in danger because they may have some kind of political agenda.
And that was my next question. I mean, just in terms of these fires, it seems ironic, of course, it would happen the night before the cuts come into play. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you think it's just some crazy neighborhood person, or what do you think? I mean, do you have any kind of like
I'll let you speak to
do you
it.
around the bush here?
No, I
Keep it
think,
real.
right.
I'm not gonna say what I really think, but I'm gonna say that I think it's someone that has knowledge of what they're doing, and I'll leave it at that. You can read between the lines.
These were not random acts. I mean, these were not random acts. This was calculated.
The land bank is the owner of many of these homes that have been firebombed, for lack of a better word. When do we begin rallying the citizens around being more vigilant about watching out for the house next door to us? When do we do the press release to the local media so that they emphasize that instead of being, reactive, we can be proactive?
Why don't we do that right now? And, citizens that live next to any vacant structures in their neighborhood, next door, across the street, just look out. We don't expect you to act. Just look. If you see something suspicious, dial 911. We're still out. We still have a police department. We still have a fire department. All of them still working. That that are on the job right now. They will respond. So it's not a matter of us not being here. These fires started before the layoffs. So the firefighters did more than anyone could even ask them, and they're still out there fighting fires as we speak. There's a fire going right now. And they're still fighting the fire.
Is there a standard reward for arson information, or a Crime Stopper number that people should be calling?
There's Crime Stopper money, and there's also an arson tip. But I don't know the specific numbers right now, but I can get those numbers. But I think the Crime Stopper number is 1-800-CRIME STOPPER or something like that. And you can call and leave that information, and we appreciate it if you know who's doing it. But that information will get to our arson division, and they will investigate that.
For the purposes here, what's the main line for the police department? You can use that number, and certainly they can be channeled from there.
Okay, 237-68. Make that 237-6900. That's the information that you can forward information. That's the number you can forward information to the arson squad. 237-6900.
Mayor Walling, I
Yes.
spoke with Keith Spear a few weeks ago, and he seems to think that the cuts could have come from a different area or a different budget rather than the public safety units. What do you say about that? He mentioned something about a trucking company or a trucking contract or something like that. What do you say about that?
We spent some time on this in detail yesterday. This administration has currently achieved a $5 million cost